Thank you for joining us at today's episode. Today, I am joined by the beautiful Dr. Shenetta Malkia. She's a global real estate strategist, author, speaker, and entrepreneur dedicated to helping leaders, investors, and organizations build resilient assets and sustainable legacies. She has extensive experience in real estate brokerage, property management, asset management, and business development, focus on transforming complex market challenges and finding strategic opportunities for growth and stability and long-term wealth. Super important for our audience of amazing women. Dr. Shenetta Malkia, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything that you don't do or can't do?
The only thing I can't do is quit. And that's what I don't want your
Well, I
and
love
that's
it.
what I don't want your viewers to do. Quit. Business is hard. Starting is hard. Developing is hard. But at the end of the day, it is worth it. And having strategic plans and strategic lives matter. And yours matters. So let's go. So we just published the Resilient Asset, but Lessons from the Ledge. It's my stories in regard to my suicide attempt and how you really overcome that and really come out of those boxes. And
Oh
so
my
when you
God,
listen
that's
to me talk
beautiful.
about your story and your journey and what your podcast is about, God has already tapped in and given me some insight in regard to what I need to share today. So I'm excited to dive in. But the boxes that you talk about, how did I get myself into these limited beliefs and where did I put myself into these boxes? Well, you've been groomed from that from the very beginning, from our childhood, and we're trying to still come out of that as adults. So I say so many adults were showing up in business because the way we show up in our personal lives, because we haven't healed a lot. So we're always on this hamster wheel, even when we're getting started and thinking that it has to be this strategic way, or they said that I have to do it this way and it's supposed to be laid out like this. And it's like, throw that shit out of the books and start over and be realistic with yourself and give yourself some real expectations for yourself that grounded, that tie into your purpose. So I'm excited.
Exactly. Like what that was just it. It's like, okay, what am I here to do? Like I was born at this time in this particular place in this particular moment in the world for not to be a supporting role in other people's story, but to be the main character role in my story. Like, what is that story? And that we all have the ability to create that. And these things like now, I'm like, isn't that kind of obvious? It's not though. Like I think especially
Not.
for women, it's not obvious. And we have lots of outside influences that kind of
Yes.
like to weigh in on how we're mothering, how we're
How we
showing up as
decide
a
to
wife,
mother.
how are your cooking skills? Like, do you always, I feel like there's always someone telling us that we can be better at something than
Or
what
you
we
should,
are.
yes, or you should be better. And it's saying, maybe I'm comfortable where I'm at. Maybe that's your journey and not my journey. Maybe we not push because everybody is not going to have the same story. Everybody doesn't have the same layout. Hell, everybody is not cooking every day, and I can cook my ass off. And I still don't want to cook every day. I am thankful my daughter is grown, so I don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
I got 3 grandbabies I get to do that with, but it's not mandatory. As a wife, I'm single. I have never been married yet. And I'm asking God, I'm saying, God, please let my husband be able to cook or hire a chef so we can do this thing together. Let's be realistic. I say everybody's like, my babe, my babe, my babe. I'm like, Jeffrey? And there's no Jeff. So I got to do it myself. So yeah, we got to take, we gotta take these different boxes off of us and take ourselves out of the box and really align with who we are, what we want. And it's going to shift. It's going to change. We got to pivot. But that's about taking those masks off. And I think that that's what a lot of people are still stuck in. People are still stuck in the mask that what they were told they had to do. If they didn't do it, how they were going to be cast out, how they were going to be viewed, scared to step out of the box, scared to not be accepted. All of these things that we went through as children that we're going through as adults. And then we see all this chaos around us. And it's like, what the hell? Which direction should I go in? And then for women, we just started getting our voices. So many things that we didn't have access to. And even still, it's still not a even playing ground. And that's why I started the brokerage. So it was very important for me to change the face of real estate because most of the time it's men that's that's closing the deals, both commercial and residential. And you have the men coaches, you have some female coaches that are working in health and wellness. You have some that like Karen Coffee, she's amazing in real estate. I have Cami Reed, but there's been some influential women that have done amazing things, but I don't think that we get highlighted enough. And so we have to make sure that we are our cheerleaders. We do have to check our box and say, crown check 1212. I'm celebrating myself, champagne over the chaos that we deal with each and every day from business to personal lives. So all of those things come together and allow us to be able to propel in our businesses and in our goals. So it's a process. I
I
love
love
it.
that. I want to also go back so you can give me a little bit of the backstory of like how you started, what yeah, what brought you here to this moment. Obviously, probably lots of different like life choices and moments where, but take us back. What brought you to even write this book, The Resilient Asset, and creating the brokerage that you did?
Sure. So my journey, I've been in property management for about 22 years at the time before I started the firm. So initially I opened in October 2019 during COVID, during a period in which I never wish anybody to have to start a business. I did not realize that, none of us knew that COVID was coming. But I had some clients and I was doing some consulting work for another property management firm as their business development and implementing some new strategies and some new business development for them and bringing in some more revenue. And also as at that time, I was a salesperson. So I was a salesperson. As I started in property management, I did notice that there was a disconnect. So for a lot of the big companies, we're focusing on the bottom dollar, bottom line. What does that NOI look like? How are we increasing the rents? How are the delinquencies coming down? We're dealing with the regular evictions, dealing with maintenance. But what I found was the disconnect was that human connection. So as I'm grading collections, as I'm grading moving forward and, having people move that can't pay rent, I wasn't tapping into the mental component of housing because mental health and housing go hand in hand. And when I thought about it, I realized that the persons that I'm putting out are going to they're going through challenges. So that maybe they lost a job. Now, some individuals just jump from property to property and don't believe in paying rent. Those are just adults that just haven't grown up. That's a different category. They still need some development, some life skills, some budgeting, those type of things, because people want to live beyond the means. They want to be the hottest on Instagram and on socials, but in real life, they struggling and it hurts. That was what I was seeing. And as I'm putting individuals out, I'm going forward, I'm doing my job, putting people out. And it took me back to realize that, wow, there are a lot of people that we could help with the different resources, whether it was financial literacy, whether it was budgeting, all of these different things could help a person actually not just find housing, be able to stay in their housing. And so those are the different things that I saw over the 20 some odd years that I was working for a lot of the larger developments. But before that, before the PMs of the city, and we just had this name change to Sable Edge Management of March 2025, my first business was Empowerment Essence. So of course I modeled and I acted. I had my entertainment company, but that was just me. I wasn't really serving a lot of clients yet until I got into TV and film production. And as I continued to do more work and became International Miss 2021, Miss Baltimore 2014, and all of the different pageant titles I had, and doing the modeling, I transitioned to acting. Then I started working for different acting studios, managing their studios, doing their marketing, their business development. Amazing. I love the arts. It gives me a chance to let loose, all of these different adulting things that we have to do every day. And then I get to put on a new hat and be a new person and tear things up sometimes, and express all these things that we feel like we can't do normally. So that's where it began in the entertainment industry for me, while I'm working for all of the big boys. I'm in property management, I'm modeling, I'm acting, I'm trying to figure out what the heck I want to do. I'm trying to identify what makes me happy because what I heard at that time was when you're working and you're doing what you love, it's not really work. And I was like, so what do I really love to do? And I didn't think they did a daggone thing in the rental office. I was like, they don't do anything except collect rent and take work orders. Lied to myself. So all of these years I'm developing, I'm learning. I moved from leasing consultant, assistant property manager, senior property manager, junior regional. These are different positions that I've held over my span. And then Empowerment Essence came. 2014, I lost my best friend, Gia Alamad, that was on The Bachelor to suicide. And it broke me. We worked together with Wink Promotions, Miss Red Hot, a lot of modeling competitions. We traveled quite a bit together, and that was my heart. And Gia was amazing, and Gia is amazing. And when I found out that she passed away by suicide, it broke me. It brought a lot of us together, and it made me realize that I never had shared my own suicide attempt because I attempted suicide in my mid 20s. At that time, I felt as though life did not matter. I felt as though I did not have a purpose. I did not have a voice. I felt like I was in a box. What society said I should have accomplished. But at that time, I wasn't married. I had the child. I didn't have a career at that time. You work jobs. You
Mhm.
know, they're not always
Right.
careers. People got jobs, they don't always have careers, but then when you trying to find yourself and I'm going through all these challenges and then I'm in a relationship that breaks down and I'm attaching myself to people and making my life a part of that person. You were speaking about that, just building other people's story and not developing my own, not realizing I had a story. So all of these different things are happening and it stemmed from the childhood, from being bullied from the 5th to 10th grade, being told I wasn't going to make it, and being told that I didn't have value, being told that repeatedly that I was ugly, being told that I was going to be just like my dad. You know, he was incarcerated at the time. And so all of these different layers were there and there were no outlets. We didn't talk about mental health in my household. We
Mhm.
didn't talk about a lot of different things. In a lot of households, you don't have those conversations because it's not normal, you think. But it is normal to have a conversation in regard to your mental health and your well being. I wish I would have known then. I didn't have tools. I didn't know how to journal. I didn't know how to take building blocks off because that's what I was at in my suicide attempt. I had pressure on me from every aspect, from work, from what society said I should look like, from the relationship, what my family said, what I didn't have, the areas I was struggling, what I'm trying to learn. I'm in college, you know, all of these different components. And everybody's dealing with it every day. But some people have a tougher skin. Some individuals had a different upbringing. I always say, I had less crayons in my coloring box than you did, than some people. You know, you go to Denny's, you get the 2-pack. Then you may go somewhere else, you get a 4-pack. Then you find out there's 16 colors. Go ahead, Crayola. Then they go big and they say it's 24. Okay, now we got 48. Now we got 108. All these different colors, all these different tools that I didn't know about.
And I also think too, it's like timing. I think, I mean, you went through your this experience in your mid-20s. I went through something very similar also where I was like, I'm in this box. I cannot get out of it. I don't know how to get out of it. And I'm 45,
I'm
20 years
46,
after
so
you know
there
what I
we
mean?
go.
So like, I mean, I'm older now, but I was 45 when this happened. And I was just like, I didn't know how, I mean, you talk about journaling, you talk about, these different tools and I didn't know what I didn't know. I think it's just, we're starting to also now what I love about living in this moment that we're in this moment in time is that there's now a lot of scientific evidence that's supporting many of the tools that we're talking about and a lot of these actions that help us understand how it works and how it rewires the brain to a place where you're fight or flight can calm and your nervous system can like you know you can just manage life. Life is so difficult and
Yes.
it's a matter
It
of
is so
time before
easy.
any of us, I feel like, as women will often get, maybe not always, but many women, I think especially high performing, ambitious, women who don't always necessarily see themselves as compliant, which
Yes.
was always me. I was punished many, many times as a young child for being strong-willed.
Yes.
And so in a way, even early on, I was put in a box, put in a box, put in a box. Just be quiet. Don't speak unless you're
Yes.
spoken to. Just be
Yes.
good. Be a good girl.
Be
There
a
was a
good
lot.
girl. Those
Good
words.
girl,
Be a
right?
good girl.
Yeah. Just
What is
stay
a good
quiet. Be
girl?
helpful. Like, and that it was for whatever reason, like not in my nature to want it to.
Because
So
it wasn't you.
yeah, but then, I think that we all figure out how to be safe.
Yes.
As we go and we travel and have these different experiences. In my case, it wasn't safe for me to actually be me because I would be punished because it wasn't acceptable in the home. It wasn't supported. And so I
Yes.
figured out then how to be. So we move through life figuring out how to be safe with life
Yes. You
the
want to be safe.
moment until the moment where all of the chips then fall and all
Yes.
the deck of cards just comes crumbling down. Yeah.
And you were being safe that whole time, and it still did not change the situation. People still did not see or value you. And I think that that's very, very important, especially for us as women. A lot of times we are told to be quiet. A lot of times we are overlooked for a lot of different things. We are told to be in our position and be in a place of help. But I believe that right now in 2026, I'm thankful today that there are so many women that are stepping out of their boxes. So many women are starting to they're still evaluating. Am I really ready to go forward? The biggest component I find in talking to a lot of my clients is really allowing them to develop. I believe that we're still developing. I feel like we're flowers that are still blooming, you know?
Mhm.
And so as we go through one petal that may fall off, we realize, oh, that was the petal that I didn't need because I really want to be able to flow into this area over here. And so I think that it's very important that when you talk about scientific tools, that's what we have at Empowerment Essence. So we teach a program called Safe Talk. And it's for individuals to become more aware, become suicide alert in your communities, to recognize the areas in which individuals may contemplate suicide. It could be financial. It's a lot of times financial. It could be disappointment. It could be relationships, not even knowing how to take care of families. Again, the finances, taking care of home. How are you going to provide for your families? It could be the job situation. It could be the promotion that you got overlooked for. It could be the losing of a job. It could be the losing of a home. It could be the disconnect. There's so many different reasons that individuals contemplate suicide. But the way that we help individuals come back, and I love this conversation because it really touches on the different components in which allow individuals to be healthy, to be safe. Because when we are able to be ourselves, that is our safest position. I think that so many times, you said that we were, I know I was definitely so speak when you're spoken to. This is an adult conversation. And then you start mirroring that behavior. So I believe that do have to retrain the brain. We do have to realize that just because it was the way that we were brought up or what we were taught does not mean it's the end all. You have to find a new way. So those were the building blocks I took off. Okay, society said I had to go to college, I should be married, work the job for 30 years, retire, buy the house. That shit looked boring. I was like, wow, I'm from Jamaica, Queens, New York. Stability was always the biggest thing for me because financially it was always a discord. My mom was single. She was going to school, working and taking care of myself. When it's time for me to go to college, couldn't get certain grants and things of that nature. So because they said she made too much money. So I had to learn different things. You get to school and you find out you need more money. Life is real. You have to learn how to pivot. And as women, we sacrifice so much each and every day, and that sacrifice starts very early. I love the fact that my daughter is very, very vocal and she's very expressive in how she feels. I think that sometimes we don't know how to express how we feel, use the words, because we've been shut down so much that we lose our voices and it stays with you. So, how do you start redeveloping your voice? Well, you get to start telling yourself, I can speak.
Well, and also, I love now that there are actually words for things. Like, let me give you an example. Just even gaslighting. Okay, I don't think that was like in its current form, right? Like 20 years ago, like we didn't use that word, but to put a word to the thing that you feel from sometimes people on a regular is like so
Yes.
empowering to have words to express some of these things. I know that there have been times, years ago, I would just open my journal and I would just, it's like I had these gut feelings about certain things in my life, right? Like, and they say that, of course, that is a uh,
Intuition.
vision, and the feminine power of that is real, right? And not recognizing how powerful it was, I still had these guts, but it just didn't always translate on paper. It didn't always translate into the words. But it's so empowering to then, even sometimes listening to someone else, I would hear something Oprah would say, and I'm like, that's it. That's it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Those are the words, right? And so sometimes it's just helpful to have someone else who can put the words to the feelings that we all feel because, yeah, there is a common thread through all of us. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about, you kind of started to touch on it a little bit, but because I was sharing with you that, of course, a lot of what we talk about on this podcast and in our content is really encouraging women toward stepping into their power and their purpose toward a life of economic independence. I really believe that if women make money of their own and a lot of it, they will feel safer in the world. And that's just
Mm, I love that.
my belief. And so as a lever that we can work toward to feel that level of safety, I do believe in that. So what I wanted to ask you, because um, you've built a number of businesses on your own, and also I love the way that you look at it too, from like what kind of problem can I solve in the world, by creating this. But I imagine with that also that you probably encountered many women along the way that maybe sometimes I talk about in our own way, Do you see that in your work that you've been doing? Like that women seem to struggle a bit more. And as a Black woman, I want to know specifically also like your perspective, because I'm a woman, but I'm not a Black woman. And I think I'm wondering if there's even additional challenges that are unique there too.
Woo! Now we get ready to get into the happy. I love that. So, first and foremost, I would say one of the biggest challenges that I face as a Black woman in running business, again, especially in the real estate industry, that it's more so white men that typically run this market. And when people talk to me and they find out, and they say, "Well, who's your business partner? Who owns the firm?"
Oh my
It's just
goodness.
me. It's just me. It's just me. And so they're very, very shocked because I've done some things. That's what's about of changing the face of real estate because you associate real estate and you associate certain things with this male dominated industry, and we're shaking things up. And I think that what you hit on a couple of things that I want to really make sure that we get a chance to dive into. Women being safer, secure if they had their own finances and made their own money. And you said make a lot of it. I love that. That was very important. Make a lot of it. There are so many women, especially when we're doing our conferences and we do the safe talk and we're talking about the different reasons that individuals think about suicide and how to overcome those different challenges. Finances are always one. And there are a lot of women, and you talk about there are different stages of abuse that individuals go through. And for a lot of women, financial abuse is very real in their world.
Because
We can
I,
talk
because
about
I,
that.
I feel like there are some listeners that might be like, is that even really a thing?
Yes,
Tell
it's a
me, tell
thing.
yeah, so
Oh, that it's a thing. It's
let's
a thing.
Let's talk about that. Because I
Yes.
think that that is something that many women have maybe experienced and didn't think about it that way.
Yeah,
But there's a level of abuse there that can be very damaging, I think, to the spirit, to her spirit.
most
So,
certainly.
what do you
If
think?
you are if for women that have gone through financial abuse that I've spoken to, they're restricted. So they're restricted into regard to what they can spend because they don't make any money. They may be home care, caretakers. They may be housewives. And so they have certain limitations that they have different people have experienced. And so they're getting their funds from their spouse. And so there is a very limited amount. They may not be privy to all of the bank accounts. They may not understand the bills that are there. So that's why when women sometimes go through divorce and they're like, I didn't know. What am I going to do? We lived in this beautiful home. I didn't even know what the mortgage was, or I thought that these things were paid. We have all of these cars in the driveway. What is the insurance? What is the car note? And not knowing what's really in place. Is mortgage protection in place if anything happened to your spouse? And how are you going to take care of you and the family? So many women have not put certain things in place to prepare themselves for the fallout that can possibly come. And so when I think about it, and that's because we have been groomed to take care of our families and our homes. So some women still do not believe it's okay to have a family and still work out of the home. So I think that having your own financial, and this is what I tell people all the time, especially for me, because my focus, because I had not seen healthy relationships, I was always looking to be involved in a relationship. I was searching for love. And so when you start first searching for love and you get into relationships and you're not focusing on yourself, and now that your spouse or your partner is the breadwinner and you feel like you're comfortable and there's nothing for you to do, if that person leaves you, what happens?
Yeah.
If the relationship falls, what happens? If unexpected life changes happen, what happens? Are you able to take care of yourself? Do you understand the budget? Do you know what bills need to be paid? Did you let go of a dream that you had? Because a lot of us do that too. We let go of our careers. We get in these
oh,
relationships. I'm going to support you. I'm going to be your cheerleader. I'm going to build your company. And then we're sitting there and saying, what about me? Or our spouses or our partners are now always going off and they're working, they're doing what they love, and you're taking care of a household. And sometimes you feel as though you're not being able to contribute the way that you used to contribute, and you're tired. And it's frightening. It's scary. For me, it could never be the case because I cannot sit home and be a housewife. For me, I've been broke mine's the most half of my life from a child growing up. So I know what it is not to have. I would never put my power and give my power to another person to say what I can make, what I can do, and what I can't do. I believe that when we come together in relationships and we're building, we need to make sure that we're involved in relationships that have whole individuals where you are whole. You know your purpose. You know your value. You know what you bring to the table. You know the dreams that you have. And it's not to say that you can't have those things and still be in a healthy relationship, but making sure that you are equally yoked with somebody that will elevate you. So the same way you're that cheerleader over here, he or she is that cheerleader over here. And it's now you're building, because now when two people can come together, it's beautiful. You can have the joint account, but you better have your separate accounts also. I like to be able to do what I need to do. You got to have those conversations. But financial abuse is serious. Men, women, partners, domestic partners, exes. You think about it when the divorces, when you think about the, oh, we fell in love, and they say, well, why do you want a prenup? Because when we fall in love, we're in love. And then when things start happening or spiraling, people become ugly. And you say, who is that
Oh.
person? You say, I didn't even know you existed. I'm not gonna talk about me. I won't talk about you, but I might tap into. I really want you to think about that today. I pray that your listeners are able to find something from this conversation today, that a light goes off and they say, do I know what the mortgage is?
Mhm.
Do I know how to pay the bills? Is my name on the accounts? Is my name on the deed of the house? Is the rent really paid? Do I have an emergency fund in case? I know that everybody is in love. Are you prepared if anything happens? I
Yeah.
know that you have dreams. Are you ready to take those dreams off the shelf, because you can still support your family, build a life for yourself, and be an example for those around you?
I was in a relationship once, and it didn't dawn on me until after, and many years after the relationship ended, that I wasn't he wouldn't give me permission to work. Like, I just didn't have permission. And I'm like, what? How is that a thing? And so I, complied. I was a good mom. I took care of the kids. I cleaned the house. I did all the things. It was not inspiring to me at all. I watched my colleagues at these corporate offices just keep getting,
Excel.
keep getting promoted. And here I was. And in hindsight, I almost sometimes wonder if men use that as an insurance policy in a way.
Mm, love
Now,
that.
maybe that's really cynical of me to
I
say,
know,
but
no, that's real, that's real. No, and I think that that's where I think I love this conversation, because we gotta take these masks off. If we
yeah,
take the mask off and call it what it is,
yeah.
people can be healed.
Knowledge is power, right?
Yes,
Knowledge is power. And just to be aware of the implications, some of the things that you're talking about, these are real.
these are real.
I'm, they're playing out in my life right now. I mean, they're in all of us at some point or another, things can get challenging and difficult. What are you going to do? It's the
What
back.
are you gonna do? And are you prepared? I cannot stress that enough. I say no matter who I'm involved with, I have to be stable. I need to be secure. I am comfortable in being alone. Being with a partner is amazing, and making sure that it's healthy. And healthy is healthy from all aspects, from the respect level, from the value level, from the adding level, from seeing each other, building each other up. You both got to pour into each other's cups. I I pray for so many women that are trapped right now that cannot find a way out. I'm praying for the women that are in domestic violence relationships and they can't find a way out. They're looking for a way out. I've gone through that. I'm a violence survivor. I almost lost my life to domestic violence. I never thought that I would be in that situation. I was I was 37 years old going through that, and I had said I'd never go through that. I shut down from my family. I disconnected. I was starting to, not operate and work. And I let one person come into my life and reduced my standards and let go of the focus of my purpose to help somebody else up and build them up. And they tore me down. And I didn't realize how bad it was until a year and a half later. And that
Mhm.
year and a half later, I say, it felt like 10 years. I remember praying on the floor. It's like, God, when are you going to help me? You see me. How does he keep getting to do this? And God reminded me that he's protected me and covered me all this time, and he will give me a safe way out. So I'm
Mhm.
believing that no matter where you are today, if you're in a box financially, I'm believing that you'll have a safe way out. I believe that if you're in a relationship that is unhealthy, you're going to have a safe way out. I believe that you're going to start seeing signs. I believe that your listeners today are now going to look into their finances if they don't understand where they are. I believe they'll start building safety pockets for themselves, whether you're and then for those that you get an allowance, take that
Mm,
allowance and build for yourself. Put
yeah.
it into
Also,
something.
ah, something triggered me when you said allowance. I know it's so true, and that's how many marriages work, and yet women are also like not 12-year-old kids.
The
Make their
kids know, but, like, here's your allowance
but
for the month, and
but
so
I
it's horrible.
yeah
It's
yeah.
horrible, but you can come out. So, I want you to come out, and how do you get your power back? Let's talk about some of the tools to get your power back. The first thing you have to do is be very realistic with yourself and take off your mask to say, "Am I happy with where I'm at today? Do I have a voice?" When's the last time you heard your genuine voice? I want you to think about this right now. When's the last time that you felt so secure and so confident and you were speaking on something and you were passionate about it and nobody could tell you anything else about it? I want you to think about that moment. And if you got it right now, I'm so excited for you
Hmm.
because that is the person that I want you to tap back into.
Yeah, because
I
I feel like there's, when we're really tapped into our true nature, our true purpose for why we're here, it's sort of like that, almost that unique brilliance that we all have, everyone's different. The thing that you would do for free all day, every day, because you don't get drained by it, but you're energized by it. It's like that, what is that thing?
What is that thing?
And, maybe there's even a way to monetize that thing. You
And
know
you
what I mean?
can, and you should,
You
and there may
should.
be multiple things, and
Yeah.
you may like this one today, and it may be something else tomorrow. If you have not explored the different things that you like. For me, I think about the movie, Julia Roberts, Eat, Love, Pray. She remember she
Oh,
had I remember and then Runaway Bride. I love Julia Roberts. I love her. And Runaway Bride, she always ate every partner she was with, she ate the eggs the way that they wanted them. Just something simple like that.
oh, right.
Remember that in the movie? She always ate the eggs.
Yes.
She did, and then when she
Such
separated
a
from everybody,
so
it
good.
was something so simple, just eggs. But everybody had a way that they ate eggs, and she ate it the way they did it. And then she had to find a way that she liked eggs. So let's use that today. Today, I don't know if you eat eggs. I don't know if you I don't know if you're a vegan. I don't know what it is. But what's the thing that you eat or you do that you've learned to do because that's what everybody has told you to do. And then if nobody was there and you get to, if you were able to have a clean slate, because I believe that we need a clean slate, we got to give ourselves clean slates because the mistakes that we made, the trials, the errors, okay, fine. You still holding yourself accountable for that. Acknowledge it, pick it up, move on. Let's go ahead and dive into where we are today. What
Mhm.
is what does your clean slate look like and what would you do differently? What would you eat differently?
Oh, it's such a great exercise of like, what is your life you would live according to you and what you want? What does that even look like? Just, it's so important.
It's fun to build it out. You really can build this out. Like, I love crayon. I do crayon, color therapy, and I love that. So I did building blocks. So I used to do building blocks in regard to what my issues were and what my concerns were. I told you I had to take them off. So I had to first realize what the problem was, and I had to get to the root of it. And when I started taking off these building blocks, I say, okay, work. Why is this a pressure for me? Because I think that I should be here, or someone said that I should be doing this, or someone said I should be making this amount of money at this time, or I should be in this position. And all of these different voices, all these different noises, how do they really tie into what I want to do and really where I see myself? Because my journey is not like anyone else's. So as you start identifying your blocks, what are your pressure points? You know,
Mhm.
what are the things that have kept you from using your voice? So I want you to you write that out. So, and it can be, why don't I speak? And then think about it. Write out all the things that people said and take a piece of paper, fold it in half. On the left side, you can write down the things that you don't do. And I want you to just write down the things that you don't do. And on the right hand side, I want you to write down why you don't do them. Where did it come from? And then I want you to get another piece of paper. And I want you to do the same thing, put your fold in half. And what do you do? And then why do you do it? And then I want you to take it a step further. As you have those two pieces of paper folded in half on the left side of what you do, I want you to write down how it makes you feel when you
Mhm.
do these things that you like doing. And then on the other one, I want you to write down how does it make you feel when you do those things that you really don't necessarily like doing, but it's what you've been taught to do and what you've been programmed to do. And once you have
Exactly.
those 2 outlines, you will be able to start saying, "This is not healthy for me. This is not
Oh,
working for me. Oh, I absolutely love this. Give me more of this. More eggs, please. Scramble, American cheese. No, not fried hard, fried medium. Yes, I need a little bit of that."
no,
And
it's
you'll be able to
that's
find
so
your
many
way.
great insights there, that can be obtained from an exercise like that. That's fantastic. I also
Listen, I believe in the tools.
And I also, there's something, and I want to talk just a little bit about, I want to get into faith just a little bit because I know that's important to you. And I want to talk a little bit about how that plays into a lot of the work that you do. But I am a spiritual person. So I'm very like to think about, what happens, both energetically and spiritually when somebody really does step into their own purpose, how
Mhm.
our frequency goes up, how our ability to attract more great stuff, our I even think people become more attractive. There's a level of like confidence, changing nothing else except just stepping into your purpose can make people drawn, to you in an interesting way. Like it's really remarkable. And I
Magnetic.
know there's magnetic, and it's real, and there is more science now that's backing up that idea of like how the spiritual nature of who we are matters and can help be the creative of our life. So tell me what your perspective is on that and your faith and how that is important in the work that you do.
Oh, wow. It's important in life just for me, period. I am a Christian. I thank God for my Savior. That is the only reason I still sit here and have this conversation with you today. God had me here for a reason. I'm a suicide attempt survivor. I've attempted twice. First time in my mid 20s, second time when I was going through the domestic violence. And I was so embarrassed that at 37 years old, I was going through domestic violence and I let somebody tear me down. And so when I told you I was laying on my floor and I was asking God, how much longer am I going to go through this? I was brought up in the church. I didn't develop my own personal relationship with God until my mid 20s. So my grandmother is Catholic. My mother is Christian, and non-denominational churches we've gone through. We went to AME, and then I found my true relationship with God. And I'm thankful because all of the seeds that were sown into my life very early, they stayed with me. And they say, plant a seed and it will grow, and train a child up and all the remembrance will come back to them. And I thank God for my mother because I had a praying mother. I thank God for my family members that prayed because without the prayers, I wouldn't be here. God
Mhm.
has done so much in my life that has allowed me to take these building blocks off and to allow me to take the labels off. When you talked about that, you said speaking and stepping into your true identity, it allows you to be more confident. It allows you to actually attract more things to you. It allows you to accomplish more. I agree. I couldn't accomplish anything that I've accomplished today if I was not confident and knew what my purpose was. When God gave me Empowerment Essence, I did not know that how to start a business. It was in my first business, my first nonprofit. I've never owned a business. I don't have anybody around me that owns a business or anything of that nature. So how was I going to do it? I was like, God, I can't do this. I said, you're talking to me? I am the underdog. I am the outcast. Nobody listens to me. Like I've been in the group homes. You know my story. We talk about me here. I can't, what? And he said, if I called you, then I'll equip you. And I
Mhm.
kept saying, I don't have the finances to do this. He said, if I gave you the vision, I'll give you the income. And I did not know. And so he just started putting people in my life. So faith for me is very important. It's the way that I live. It's every single day. It's not just in my personal life or just in my business life, but my relationship with God and my faith in regard to what he does for me and how he shows up for me and supplies all my needs and comforts me and heals me and delivers me. He has been the only reason that I've been able to step into my true identity because I know who I am in him.
Mhm.
Before I was trying to tie my identity and who I was into people, into
That's right.
things,
Yep.
into wardrobes, into hair, into money, into finances. I've had money, I've lost money. I had the friends which I felt like, oh, I got this crew of friends, so I'm in the influencers group, so I'm okay, I'm all right. All the accolades that come and go, all of those things if you can strip me from my titles, you can strip me from my businesses. If I lost everything today, I am confident to know that the same God that allowed me to build it will rebuild it. The same
Right.
God that is keeping me, that's how I'm staying safe. That's who kept me alive going through these trials, going through these different situations that I've gone through. It is very important. The way that I pray over myself, my businesses, my family, my clients, praying for my clients. These are the things, the reasons why I have not passed out. My work is stressful on some days. The work, we're dealing with housing, we're dealing with
Yeah.
different personalities, we're dealing with different situations, we're dealing with different incomes. I work in affordable housing. I work with seniors. We're dealing with compliance. We have a great deal. I have a team of 10 that I oversee currently right now with the portfolios we have. I have 36 portfolios that I'm managing, 3 different companies, multiple different clients. So faith is the only reason people say, Shenetta, how are you doing all of this? By the grace of God.
Hmm.
You know, I couldn't do it without him, and I wouldn't want to do it without him. I think that no matter where you are and who you pray to, if you do not have a spiritual connection and know where your help comes from, you will crash out and burn.
So true. I didn't realize when I went on this entrepreneurial path, I had no I'm just gonna go build a business. I had no idea the spiritual journey that I was about to go on. No
Mhm.
clue. And I'm telling you, it's been the greatest joy of my life
Yes.
to 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 be able to I see how as I come back to myself and my true nature, how like better I am as a person and how I can
Yes.
show up for other people in a way that is just is so much easier to do. To serve people when you're coming from that place of authenticity is just it's a joy. It's
It's a huge joy. Serving, you're able to serve now because a lot of times we pour from an empty cup. And we keep going and we keep giving and we keep doing, and we haven't tapped into anything with ourselves.
Mhm.
And so I found that if I am not equipped and I'm not filled up with the word, when I am not there, I can't serve. When I don't know how, and I have to tell you, I started the business during COVID.
Mhm.
That was nobody but God.
That's
I know a
right.
lot of businesses closed. I'm in housing. People weren't paying rents. Clients were losing properties. We had to do a pivot. And so every month when I say bills are paid, I am thankful. Going through that journey, knowing seeing God wipe out bills for me, I am thankful. I am debt free. My credit today ain't nobody but the work of God, and the stability that He has allowed me to see. I started working because I remember losing a job and I needed to be spiritually employed. So I started volunteering at the church. And as I volunteered at the church, a church member offered me a job and gave me some more insight that then led me to start the business. So there are God will interween being paths with you and other people. God will open doors. He'll have your name spoken in rooms you couldn't think about. When I think about how much He has taken care of me, I get really excited because I didn't have anything, y'all. I was flat broke. I was broke. I was broken, so I thought, and I really wasn't broken. I was just shattered into pieces, and I wasn't allowing Him to put the pieces together because I
Mhm.
was depending on other people to heal me. And then I was depending on not knowing that I had to do the work myself. And then I also had to make sure that I cooperated and I aligned with it. So my spiritual relationship, because Empowerment Essence is a faith-based company. I
Mhm.
know that the only way I only overcame my suicide attempts is through God. I know when I laid in the hospital bed and the police officer said, I don't know what you're going through, but do you think that what you're going through is enough to take your life? And she didn't let me answer. She told me no. It was the toughest love I ever felt. It was the first time I truly felt that somebody saw me and felt that I had purpose, and that was in my 20s. And so as we continue to grow, He just speaks to us and He covers us and He loves on us. And He let me know that everything that I had done wrong, all of the failures were my dress rehearsals. I
Mhm.
had to go through those. I had to fall to get back up. And it didn't matter how many times I fell. It was how many times I was going to get back up and recognize who I was. I couldn't deal with, and you go to some churches and you participate in some groups and they put all these rules and these laws and these different bylaws on you. And that was not who God was for me. God knew what I was going to do. God gave me different words that allowed me to transition and reprogram my mind. Shenetta, you don't have to react. You don't have to react that way. Pause, pause, pause. Don't speak. Don't say a word. Trust me. I know what they did was wrong. I know it hurts. Trust me. Hold on to me. Don't retaliate. These are things I have to learn and things I have to remind myself every single day because it's testing. It's life, right? You go to the grocery store, somebody's having a bad day, don't have nothing to do with you, and it's just a scene. You go to the office, you're respecting your coworkers or you're serving your clients, and they may be going through things in their life and they don't know how to show up for you to be able to give you the support that you need. We are dealing with everyday individuals and everybody comes from a different walk of life. Everybody doesn't have the tools. Everybody does not believe in God. Everybody is not tapped into faith. Everybody is in their own world. And we forget that we are all truly connected though.
Totally, I was just about to say that. It's
We
like
Andrea, we are
there's
connected.
there's some telepathic like thoughts being shared, I guess. But I mean, it's true. It's like, the perception is that we're all living these individual siloed lives, and the reality is so not that. The reality
That's
is that we are so connected, and I think in sometimes ways we can't even see. But in remembering that, also when I think about that, it helps me also have compassion for other people too more. When
right.
I think about the way that we're all connected in our various life experiences, but it's really easier, I think, to have compassion for people.
Compassion, forgiveness, walking in love.
Mhm.
I've had to forgive some of the most egregious actions, and
Mhm.
I'm thankful because if I had not forgiven, I'd be consumed.
Yeah.
And I believe that sometimes people would still become consumed and bitter. And when you talk about getting in your own way, not
Mhm.
letting go in the hurt, not letting go of the bad experiences, not letting go of the experience which you felt like you failed, that will keep you in a box. If you are basing your current today off of your yesterday, that wasn't the best day, or it may have been a moment, or you base your future off of one opportunity or what you may deem as a missed opportunity. I don't know, somebody has felt like they missed an opportunity, but that door was closed because it's not where you needed to be. You were getting ready to go into a trap. People trap you.
Mhm.
They dangle things in front of you and make you think that it is, and they make it look pretty, and you get there and you find out it's something else. Tapping in to your faith, tapping into God and asking God, "What do I do?" Because I'll be talking to God all day. You saw this email, right? How do I deal with this? How do I respond? What do I say? How I'm feeling like and I talk to God. Like, and it's a regular conversation. Like I'm talking to you right now. It's like, I'm not feeling this today. How much longer? What do I need to do? I have my scriptures and things. I have my tools.
Yeah.
I have a toolbox now. I know how to pray. I know how to pause. I know how to disconnect. I know how to say that it's okay to not be okay. I know how to ask for help. Raise your hand and ask for help. And people don't raise their hand and ask for help because they haven't had a safe place to ask for help.
Right.
Sometimes they ask for help and the help comes, but now it comes with a bond. It comes with a tie. It comes with a stipulation. And so this is still carrying over in our personal lives.
Mhm.
It's in our business lives. Our kids are seeing it. And I believe you, me, when we do develop our voice and we step into our purpose, our kids are paying attention. Our children are paying attention. And they may not be paying attention the way you want them to, but they're paying attention. And they
Mhm.
may not listen the way you think that they should be listening, but they're paying attention. Because when I talk to my daughter, she's like, Mom, I've seen you grow. I've seen you go through a lot. Keep doing what you do.
Oh my gosh, that is.
That that's enough for me. My daughter's in property management. When she can call me, and she's one of my agents also, when she can call me and say, Mom, this is what I'm facing today. And I
Mhm.
can pause and I can give her the tools that she needs in that moment, I win. If we as women give each other the tools We win. If we as women come together more, because, as people say, a lot of women say, I don't compete, I collaborate and I celebrate. Those are great phrases. I just want people to really model that and be that for one another.
Yeah.
I want you to genuinely look at another person and truly understand that they have value, though you may not understand it. When you look at a person that is not where you think that they should be in life, the compassion you spoke about, it allows me to forgive and to love because I know that a broken person that has not healed yet is delivering these actions and these different things. And it's not to say that that's who they are.
That's right. Just
That's
where they
those
are.
it's
Sure.
where they are, which is why I was able to forgive my ex that put me through that I've gone through domestic violence with. I've had to forgive him because I couldn't let him have that power. I had to also recognize that he was a person that had to go through his own healing. And that doesn't mean that you stay with people while they're going through their healing process when you're being broken down and tore down. You do not stay
Mhm.
because the longer you stay, the longer you program your mind to say that this behavior is okay. And the harder it is for you to come out of it. And some people are saying, like, this conversation is good, but how do they really want us to take the first step? The first step is saying that you want to take the first step. And your first step is not going to look like anybody else's. It doesn't have to. Your first step today could be, I am actually going to try some different eggs or different juice,
Yeah.
a
Right?
different exercise. You may say today that I do want to know how to pay the bills. I know I've been told that I can't or I shouldn't or I take care of that, but I want to be engaged. And I think that when you start having those genuine conversations, because sometimes you don't have them because you're scared, when you'll find out who you're dealing with.
It's like, do I want to
That's
know what the
it.
answer is?
Do
I
you want to know?
Yeah, and I think that that's valid fear. I think that a lot of people would, if it's not, if this isn't where I'm meant to be, well, then where is it? And sometimes the devil that you know seems like the easier path.
And you got to be able to take I think this is one of the things that I will say. Be okay with taking a step back to take a step forward. If you got into the relationship and it's not healthy, you took the job and it really is not where you're stressed out more than anything and you're uncomfortable, start developing your exit plan quietly. Pray about it, write about it, and let God lead you into the direction you need to go. Let your spiritual guide lead you where you need to go. I speak about God because that's who I only know. That's the person that got me through it. And I'm
Mhm.
thankful. And I know his love is real because sometimes we don't feel genuine love. So we take artificial love, which holds us captive also and puts us in another box.
Yeah.
We can come out of the boxes, ladies. We can genuinely come out the boxes, queens, because you are a queen. You have value. You have purpose. You are here for a reason. You've already sacrificed everything. Now give yourself something. Give yourself the love, the encouragement, the push that you give the kids, that you give your best friend,
Mhm.
that you give your partner, your spouse, your families. A lot of you are the backbone for everything. Give your moment, give yourself a moment to just be. Give yourself grace. Take the mask off, walk in your trueness, and
Yeah,
just start eating ice cream or something fun.
yeah, I love that so much. That's Dr. Shenetta, that's just such a beautiful place, I think, to wrap this conversation up. It's just exactly that's the message. And I hope that these women listening today really do take that to heart and all of the little tools that you just dropped, all of the worksheets that people, there's journal prompts in here. If you go back and re-listen to this episode, you'll get all of it. Wonderful. Couple questions though. There are
Yes.
a couple questions that I ask all my guests. First is, what would to go back to your 6, 7-year-old Dr. Shenetta, what would you tell her?
You're not ugly. I have this picture. I don't know if when technology is always great. So I keep this picture on my phone and it's me in the 5th grade. And I have this little tight Jerry curl and I have these buck teeth because I had these little tiny teeth. Smile is different now, grown. Thank goodness for the dentist. But I had these tiny teeth and it was the most traumatic experience being bullied for so long. But the little me, you're not ugly.
Mhm.
I love
Those are the things, those are the words. You're not ugly.
I love that. And what's the best way for people to reach out to you, find out more information, buy your books, more about your business? What's the best way for them
Yes.
to find you?
So for real estate, if you need assistance, if you want to become have a resilient asset, if you want to move into property management, you want to become a real estate salesperson, you can follow us at Sable Edge, or you can visit sableedge.com. That's our website. You can follow Sable Edge on Instagram, Sable Edge Management, Sable Edge Realty, and Sable Edge Property Management. You can find us on LinkedIn, Sable Edge Management and Sable Edge Realty. You can find me. Everything is very simple. Dr. Shenetta Malkia. That is it. That is how you find me. You can Google the name and everything will come up.
All right.
But for so that's just amazing. But sableedge.com, if you really want to dive into real estate, to get the book, if you visit our website, sableedge.com, you can click on the link and grab it. It is on Amazon. You can grab that there. We have a new resilient operator training that's coming out to really help you hone in on the 5 pillars, which was what the resilient asset is about. It's the 5 pillars that help you build a successful portfolio of real estate. And we talk about strategic foresight. We're talking about operational discipline. We're talking about financial transparency, human capital excellence, and then operational accountability systems. So, in the accountability systems, we dive in a little bit into the exit strategy. So, making sure that you have those 5 pillars, that it really applies to all businesses, not just real estate, but I apply it to real estate because that's my baby. But you can really apply these to all of those different avenues. You apply these 5 pillars to all different businesses. These different components will help you tremendously. And so that's the real estate side of things. For mental health services, so we have Safe Talk. We talked about that, and that is for any community. We come out and we do a 4-hour training for you. We provide you with the tools, workbooks, and resources so that you can make sure that your community is suicide safe. And those services are provided by Empowerment Essence. So please visit empowermentessence.org, where we provide financial literacy training, housing counseling services. So we want to help you build your budget. If you are trying to purchase your first house, we will help you with that and give you some insight. And then we have our youth programs, Bully Free Beautiful Me. Those are for our youth for ages 6 to 16. We do that annually just to give them the resources to help the parents. So visit Empowerment Essence for everything mental health, awareness, speaking engagements. Yes, I come out and speak. I love going out and meeting with the community. Let's make sure you have the tools. So that's how you connect with me. TV and film, that's malkiarelations.com. Our newest movie is actually out on Tubi right now. It's called Give Me the Loop. We have 6 more movies that are being distributed. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So please connect with me. I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Dr. Shenetta Malkia. All of the businesses are there. Empowerment Essence is also on Instagram as well as Facebook and LinkedIn. So it is easy to find us. Just literally Google Shenetta Malkia and it will come out.
So many incredible ventures that you have that are all doing something really important in the world. And I just appreciate that so much. And so glad that you came on the show today. We'll include some of these resources in the episode notes as well for those of you who want to find her quickly. And Dr. Shenetta Malkia, thank you so much for joining.
This has been amazing, Andrea. Thank you for having me. I want everybody to stay encouraged because you're here for a reason. And I want you to continue to grow because it's just getting started, no matter where you are today.
I love that so much. So important. Thank you so much for joining me and wish you so much success. We'll be in touch.
Yes, indeed. The same to you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me on today's episode. If you'd like to explore what your life could look like when your business and life are aligned with what you're really meant to do, get a business audit. I'll personally review your business, look at your social accounts, and give you some precise direction on what's working and how to create even more impact and income. Simply go to AndreaDeLaCerda.com, navigate to work with me, and select the business audit. Again, that's AndreaDeLaCerda.com, work with me, and then select the business audit. And if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like and subscribe. That way more content like this can be shared with you as soon as new episodes drop. Thanks so much for joining again. See you soon. Take care.